You hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/inkdependence keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence. I'm Mike, and this is Diamine Handel. This is part of the music series of inks, and they come in a whole set of boxes. I think it's 10 bottles, and it's like $100. But this is an ink that I first got a sample of from, I believe it was Kelly over at Mountain of Ink. So thanks very much, Kelly, for getting me started on this ink. And then a friend of mine at the Pen Club was selling these in bottles, and I was like, okay, well, I got to get some bottles of the music ink. And so I bought this from her. So this is an ink that you can find at a bunch of different places, and we'll talk about, you know, U.S. and all that sort of, and non-U.S. sources and all that kind of stuff here in a minute. So this ink is, it looks here that it's sort of a violet or something, or a pink. I don't know what color this is, but it's not really that. So let's see what it looks like on the inside of the cap. Yeah, there we go. Weird, right? It's like pinkish, purplish green or something. Yeah, this one's a looker. So here it is on some paper. And I actually think this is a very interesting looking ink. And it's one that I've used quite a lot, actually, in the last, I don't know, while. The last few weeks I've been using Handel a lot because I think it's fun. So this base color is kind of a, I don't know what that is, mauve or something, maybe? But this is an ink that looks different depending on the paper you put it on. So we're going to look at it on some different papers here in a bit. You can see it does have a little bit of sheen here, and probably you can see some sheen in other places like down here. So down here, this ink has been in this pen for a little while, and it's started to evaporate just a bit, and so it's much darker, and you also get a lot more sheen laying on top of it. So very interesting stuff. This is my regular Rhodia 80 grams per square meter paper. The flow on this one, pretty wet and fairly smooth, I think. And the performance, a little bit of bleed on this 20-pound copy paper I use. And I've had this in a couple of pens, but I actually can't remember what all pens I've had it in. So here we have it from this this pen right here, which is the ST Dupont Line D Guilloche Large, which you've seen the review for this on my channel already. And if you haven't, go check that out because, man, this is a good pen, and look at this beautiful nib and stuff. So I've really enjoyed it in this pen, and you get a little bit of like feathering here and there, and a little bit of bleed here on this paper. But also, like, everything kind of bleeds on this. This is Staples 20% or 20-pound 30% recycled copy paper, and if you're not printing out of this like with like a, I don't know, a laser printer, it's gonna bleed. Like, everything bleeds through this, but it's not terrible, I wouldn't say. Okay. We'll see it on some other stuff too. Qualities, multi-chrome shading and sheen, which I think is pretty cool. This is, just to go ahead and take a look at it on this. So this is a Col-o-dex card, of course, and you can see we've got like purples, we've got pinks, we've got like green sheen going on. Sometimes it looks a little bit tinges of brown or tan or something in there. Gray, maybe? I don't know. Gray, brown, purple with green sheen and pink. I don't know what to call this ink. But, I mean, look at it up here in just the writing sample. I mean, this is a cool ink, y'all. So check this one out if you get a chance. As far as the pen, I already just talked about that. And then, yeah, I think this is really unusual. And I don't know if this is going to be the kind of ink that you use in your office or whatever. But for anything else, I think this is a lot of fun. And it looks super good on Tomoe River. So let's go ahead and do a little water test. And then we'll look at it on some other papers and look at some comparable inks. Okay, so let's get some water on the subject. There we go. And there we are. All right. Take our ridiculously oversized syringe. Let's give it a little bit of a swirl. Come on, get those letters. There we go. All right. Go ahead and mop that up. Mop, mop, mop. Mop. And you get a bunch of different colors on here. I'm just now realizing that I did not do a chromatography for this, so I'll film that in a minute, and I'll add it in. You're not gonna know the difference. It'll be fine. Okay, but there you go. You get like this interesting hot pink is all that's left over. The rest of it kind of came up onto the towel. You get some like green and pink and stuff like that. But yeah, it's It's looking kind of hot pink there, and this is not a hot pink ink, but it's definitely got that in a layer somewhere.
Okay, so I'm just sort of doing this on the fly and quick, so it's going to sound a little bit worse, but we can deal with it. So I actually did 2 chromatographies for this ink. The first one is this, and this is from the pen, and as you can see, there are a lot of like really dark colors up here at the top, like super dark navies and things like that, and fading into the browns and pinks. I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's gotten a little bit, dehydrated in my pen. So I did one straight from the bottle, and you can see it's essentially the same, except for the blue highlights are much lighter. So what I think happened was that this has just done some dehydrating and aging as it's in the converter in the pen over the last few weeks. And yeah, just a little bit different. All right, cool. There you go. Back to the normal program. Bye.
As far as where you can get these little bottles, it comes in a variety of different bottles. This is the one from the music series set. I'm not exactly sure what other bottles you'll be able to find. They have them in like the smaller Diamine bottles and all kinds of things. But the set is 10 bottles for $100, which I think is pretty good if you want 10 bottles of ink, and these are interesting inks. Individually, in non-USA stores like Cult Pens and stuff like that, you'll get them for about £4. And then individually in the US, it's about $12.50. So a little bit more than you would get in the non-USA stores. But £4 for this, I think is great. $12.50, I mean, totally fine. For 30 mils, yeah, all right, that's cool. It's an unusual and unique sort of ink, so I mean, whatever. That price isn't that bad if you ask me. Alrighty. So here we have this paper, or this ink on an ink journal. This is Tomoe River paper. And you can see here I did 2 little swatches in addition to this. So the second swatch is what it looks like currently after it's been in my pen for a few weeks being used and that sort of thing. And like it's kind of running out a little bit because I've been using it a bit, but also it's a bit evaporated and that kind of thing. And so you get a lot more sheen. Like the underlying color is not all that much darker than this, but the sheen is really popping right now. So yeah, really interesting color, I think. And then here in my Inky Fingers currently ink notebook, which is wheat straw paper, it looks like this. Let's go ahead and give it a secondary scribble here as well, because why not? Yeah. That sheen is just already popping on this wheat straw, which is really pretty cool. So yeah, really, really weird color here, right? It's weird. All right. Okay, so let's look at this next to a whole bunch of other colors. Here's the Diamine Music Series Handel here. And then I don't really have anything that's identical. I've got some that are like in interesting color spaces around it. So this is Diamine Pelican Edelstein Amethyst. And the amethyst is kind of the same as this bit here, I think. I think it's got some matchy in here. And this has just a tiny bit of green sheen on it. So I threw it in here for the review, but I mean, in real life, it's not that much. It's not that similar. Then we have Roaring Cleaner Alt Bordeaux, which has got some similarities in here, but again, I don't have anything that's just like Handel, so this is just kind of a shot in the dark a little bit. Then we have, let's see, what should we do next? This one. This is Sailor Manu Akebi. Akebi? I'm not really sure about this one. I should have looked up pronunciation, but I did not. And this has like some of the same features in the darker areas of Akebi, and over here somewhere in the darker areas of Handel. But otherwise, this is a much more pink sort of ink, much more violet sort of ink than this one, which has got a bunch of stuff going on. Then we've got Pen BBS 313 Danjo. Danjo? I'm going to say Danjo, which has got some of the same kinds of colors going on, but I don't know. It's not that similar, really. I don't know. It's hard to compare inks that are this, unique. Almost lastly, penultimately, we've got Diamine's Cult Pens Robert, which I think has a lot of similarities, except that there's so much sheen on Robert that it basically looks like a yellowy, like lime chartreuse green, instead of the purpley color that's kind of underneath, which is kind of like maybe in the same vein. It's hard to tell. Then lastly, because I think of this as being like kind of a weird mauvey brown pink, and then I was looking through my inks, I'm like, oh wait, there is a color called brown pink, and this is from Krishna. And brown, this is not brown pink. Like, now I got to stop saying brown pink because this is not even close. But how weird is that, right? Okay. So, this has been Diamine's music series, Handel, and I think this is worth checking out just because it's so darn strange and interesting. So, there you go. I'll see y'all in the next video. Let me know, like, what do you think this color is? Like, what is that? Also, how's it related to Handel? I don't have enough music history knowledge to be able to figure that out, but now I'm curious. All right, see you in the next video. Peace out.